written production of the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated and is intended for the sole purpose of informing our Recreation Center members. Any duplication, copying, transmission, broadcast, or use, including electronic and social media, is strictly prohibited without the prior written consent from the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated. Thank you for watching.
Okay.
I'll move and make room for one more seat.
If we could get everybody to settle down. Thank you. Really glad to see the turnout. I know the reason for that is that a lot of emails have been flying around encouraging you to come and see this, and we're happy because we've got some information for you that you probably are not aware of. The program tonight is going to be about 20, 25 minutes, somewhere in that range. It's always hard to be exact. Of some slides that will present things that have been happening over the last year. This has been a particularly active year for RCSC activities. And so what we want to do is give you some background information, and then we'll get into the specifics. Yeah. We have 3 people. This meeting is sponsored by the Long Range Planning Committee. And we have Sherry Marchio. Is that close enough? And Steve Oakes. And myself, I'm Norm Dixon. We are all volunteers on the Long Range Planning Committee. If you're not aware of it, we have 10 committees or so of volunteers. And if you get on a committee, the only requirement that we ask for is that you come on with an open mind and have the best interest of Sun City as a goal, regardless of what your individual activities may be. And this community, as we've had some historical slides going on there that probably you haven't seen, the community has been running this way for 64 years now, with volunteer directors that are elected and volunteer committees that work to do helping the directors make decisions. Committees don't make decisions, they just make recommendations. So if any of you are interested, there's a whole lot of openings for you. Now, if I can get this thing to work. Of course, there are our names and the welcome slide. I don't know if you can read it in the back, so I'll help you out. Long Range Planning Committee, creating member-to-member opportunities to collect community ideas and input. Today is a recap on current projects and planning. Following the 25-minute presentation, the floor will be open for comments. Yeah, if somebody could turn this light out, that would help. Thank you. And we are videotaping this so that we can capture the comments and go back over it at leisure and pull out the comments that people have made, and so that we have a record of those. Okay, the agenda as we go along, these are the items that we're going to be dealing with. Number 1, changes are in process. 2, ASU and RCSC work study summary. 3, a strategic pyramid, which is a structure for making decisions. And then we have a new mission, vision, values statement that has been, I believe, adopted by this time. And then we have a slide on the budget and finance. It takes a lot of money to run this operation. Trust me, a lot of money. And then we talk about the 5-year strategic plan. And 7 is we'll get into the Strategic Alternatives Committee, which, if you're not aware of it, is the committee that was formed to try to come up with a workable plan for Mountain View. Whoops, I guess I went the wrong way. Okay, I'm not sure. Sherry or you or Steve are going to do this one? Oh. Everybody picks on me. Okay, changes are in process. You realize that there's been a big change in the board membership this year, and we don't need to go into that. That's history, that's water over the dam. But what we're going to try to operate on is transparency. Is the main operating guideline. We're going to try to be as transparent as possible so that everybody knows what's going on. Proactive data-driven approach, highest and best use of funds. We're trying to get and collect data that gives you more of an objective view of what all 40,000 of you really want Sun City to look like now and in the future. A renewed focus on maintaining all facilities to high quality standards. Over the last, I've been here, and it is not true that I have a dinosaur for a pet. But I have been here now for 25 years. That's a quarter of a century. That is really scary. But what I've seen over the years is that there's been a steady lack of money to do the basic maintenance that needs to be done to run this huge operation. So we're going to try and correct that. Pragmatic approach to helping members who are truly in need. We do have the foundation, which helps people that are still trying to live on a 1960 Social Security. And management's going to be working on employee retention and satisfaction, and there is a sense of urgency. At our age, everything is a sense of urgency. And if one organ rules, at nighttime, it's a bladder. Okay, now you've had enough of me, so Steve is going to come up and talk about the ASU.
Test. Okay, this works, right? This is a great turnout. Welcome. It's so good to see so many people interested in what's going on in Sun City. Thanks for being here. Okay, well, a while ago, this actually got started maybe 2 years ago, the ASU survey. Sorry, let me clarify. RCSC survey first, and then ASU was brought in to help with the survey. And it really was developed last year in conjunction, LRP with ASU. And so early this year, I think we finished the survey, and we got results back. Some of you were probably curious as to what was in it, and you read about it already, and this is just maybe a reminder. But it did talk about a lot of different issues that are in people's minds for what they'd like to do in RCSC facilities. So people were upset sometimes with the questions, the type of questions, the length of it. I get it, okay? Wasn't ideal. However, it was the first survey in 20 years. So we finally asked the people what they were thinking, what they wanted, what they liked, what they didn't like. And we got a lot of information. A lot of people responded. That is great because we didn't have that for over 20 years. And you have 30% of the population, or 6,000 responses. You don't normally get that in surveys. So you people are interested and you want to talk about what you want. So that's great. Focus groups were also set up by ASU, and 140 residents were involved there. There were 3 working group activities, or a 3-hour working group that developed suggestions. That's still data that's available for us to work on. But the bottom line on it here is the amount of data was great, greater than we really maybe know how to handle. So we do want to address that in the future. Okay. ASU works summary. This was kind of strange. These were the frequent activities. And we did not expect to see walking for pleasure being #1. Does that, do we do that at the facility, or are we doing that in our neighborhood? I suspect there's a substantial component of this where it's being done in the neighborhood and people are walking their dog. I do. And they're walking in their neighborhood because they know walking is good for them. Is that something that we can do with RCSC facilities? That's to be thought about a little bit further. Cardio fitness, 51%, or number 2 on the list. Or if you take the walking for pleasure out and talk about what you do specifically at the facilities, number 1. And water walking, okay, we have, what, 2 water walking pools, really, but it's done elsewhere. You have Bell, you have Fairway, but you also have people doing water walking I've seen them at Oakmont and Mountain View. Weight training, okay, number 4 or number 3, however you want to categorize this. So they're using the fitness centers. And if you go to the utilization studies also, you'll see that it's consistent. So what people say they're doing and what we see on the check-ins are consistent. If you look at the utilization studies, you'll see that fitness is like number 1, very, very high usage. Okay, then there's mini golf, 40%. That's higher than I expected. And golf, 39%, basically tied with mini golf. Sitting by the pool, 34%. And so to some people, that may be swimming, by the way. So pickleball, lap swimming, that's a tie, if you will. Okay, so that's what we learned there. What are the pros and cons real quickly? Strong sense of community came out, and ASU pointed that out. They said, you have a really strong sense of community here. Well, this is back to what Norm was talking about with the volunteer action. The people that are getting involved, they care, they're helping the community. That's you. Participation in clubs is a valued part of Sun City. Well, we know with 130 clubs, obviously, if you're not involved in a club, I don't know what you're doing here. There's a lot of clubs to choose from. All right, and cons, walking facilities are desired. Should they be increased is the question that comes out of that number 1, where 73% of people are doing walking for pleasure. Technology is lacking. A lot of us know this. A lot of us have been dealing with this. And thanks to the board, because they formed a technology committee, there's a lot of work going on in that regard. We've seen improvements, and we know that we need to improve further. Fitness centers should be updated. That was also part of the survey. And participation in clubs is considered limited due to time or availability. Some of this is because when I want to do line dancing, I can't do ladies golf, or I can't do 2 things at once. I'm one person, and they happen to overlap in terms of the time availability. That's where we think that comes from. All right, I'll turn it back over to, I'll turn it over to Sherry now. She'll take you through some other things we've learned through LRP.
Okay, well, the Long Range Planning Committee started out the year and we lacked a plan. That might be kind of surprising to some of you. But this is a diagram that we use to help us create our plan and to help us demonstrate how we're interconnected to other pieces and parts and working components of RCSC. And so while this might be a new concept for some people, I think that it's really an easy to understand concept. Because if you have your organization that's properly aligned, it's normally based on a set of mission, vision, and values. And those mission, vision, and values are very important, along with what are you going to do? What's your long-range plan? So a 5-year plan, another opportunity for us. I'll talk about that in a minute. And finally, from that 5-year plan, what are we doing each and every year operationally, but also how are we chipping away and accomplishing those things in the 5-year plan that we set out for ourselves? So our goal is to intentionally move forward from a reactionary point of view to real purposeful, because we really are seeking some continuity. We want to think and plan big about the big things while we're working on the smaller things, but we want to make sure we stay on track. Okay, mission, vision, values. First up, we started by validating How do they look? How do they look? And what we determined is that they were outdated. They were a little hard to find. We had to do some digging. And they really lacked some inspiration for planning and for people. And through 12 or 13 iterations, possibly more, we had committee involvement, board member involvement, staff input. We had a lot of ideas. We thank you if you're one of the people who submitted ideas. We took them all to heart. So about 120 hours later, we now have mission, vision, value statements, and we want to share them with you today. So we're proud that they're built by members, for members. It's a public statement that we're proud to share, and they definitely explain who we are, where we're going, and what we value. Okay, our proposed mission, who we are. RCSC exists to maintain a financially sustainable corporation which provides our members with a wide range of high-quality amenities, recreational opportunities, and social activities to enhance each member's sense of well-being and purpose. Succinct, easy, I think it gets right to the point. Our vision. While we started out 60-some years ago as the original Sun City, we're not ready to give up that limelight quite yet, because we also want to be recognized as a national leader in 55+ socially active lifestyle communities. That's our vision for Sun City. Okay, again, nice and simple. Our proposed values. Our values are related to our members, our sense of community, working together, working for each other, taking care of the things that we have, working and planning smarter, and making sure that we're here for the future. So let me read them. We are committed to making members our highest priority and giving them high-quality service. We value our friendly and welcoming community and want to pass that along to future generations. We value teamwork and each person's contribution to the community. We maintain and improve amenities, operations, and infrastructure to modern, attractive, and environmentally friendly standards. We believe data and technology should be harnessed to support health, safety, efficiency, and maintain the integrity of our decision-making processes. And we plan for the future and operate with a sense of urgency. Taken together, I hope you can find inspiration and some clarity in our new proposed mission, vision, and value statements. Do they sound pretty good? Yay. Okay, all right. Another layer on that strategy pyramid I showed a couple slides ago is the annual budget. And this year, members and management came together as business partners, and through a new process that transitioned from management-driven to member-inclusive, committees met bi-weekly all summer. These were open meetings. Many times guests were allowed to comment or ask a question, and so there was a lot of opportunity for interaction between management and members. In those meetings, it became clear that the resulting theme for this year for the budget for 2024 is facing economic realities. And that really falls into three main areas. The first one is expanded capital project list, and to begin some catch up on some old things that we've let kind of falter for a little bit too long. And so that's a major component of this year's budget. Secondly, it's creating spending for or funding for preventative maintenance plan in the future, so this doesn't happen again, okay? And finally, we have a real need to increase our wages to approach market rates and reduce employee turnover. We want to remain committed to the people who take care of us, who do a good job, and it's high time that we address their wages. On November 16th is the next board meeting. That's when the budget will come up again. Please feel free to come to the meeting, share your comments, share your concerns, bring up your questions. If you would like to see the 2024 preliminary budget, it's on the website under committee reports for finance and budget. Okay, and finally, that last piece of that strategic pyramid. and this is an opportunity for us to put our house in order, okay? We have a new initiative, and it begins with our new general manager. He'll begin the 5-year plan. He'll then pass it to long-range planning and finance and budget and audit committees so we can do our work. And there's 3 components to this. We want to achieve a balance of needs with resources using data-based decisions. So using technology, town halls, surveys, these are all examples of collecting information, getting your input. There's a lot of other ways as well. Being transparent and realistic with asset preservation and improvement planning. How are we going to take care of what we have? Okay? And finally, funding for our future. Identify and appropriately fund deferred current and future priorities. So a work in progress, but definitely high priority for 2023, 2024. Okay, Norm, you're up again.
Okay. And I need the magic clicker. Thank you. Okay, one of the things we want to do, I think this is working, yeah. Usually I don't need a microphone. One of the things that we want to do is give you some data that you may, am I on the right one or am I? There we go. An overall view of what we've got here. All of us tend to think that the 3 activities we do is Sun City. And they don't realize that you've got 38,000 other people doing other things while you're doing your thing. And so I just want to give you an overall view. We've got over 1,000 acres of golf course that has to be maintained. We have 350,000 rounds of approximately a year playing golf. We have 240,000 square feet of center buildings, and that's smaller because I'm not sure I even put the new center, Grand Center on Grand Avenue. But it's a big operation. Over 7 days, those centers sit on over 70 acres of land that also has to be maintained. We have over 1 million member visits to all the centers every year. I don't know a shopping center that wouldn't be drooling to get that. Now, that is not 1 million people, obviously, because we only have 40,000. But if you go to exercise 3 times a week, you get counted 3 times. If you go play tennis 5 times a week, then you get counted 5 times. But a body is walking into that activity, and that's just the centers. Now, another view. These are all of our centers, and they range in age all the way from 1960 to 2019. We need to update those centers. We need to replace them. We need to modernize them. Those are some big expenses that are coming down our way, and there's no way to avoid them. People say, oh, you go to Europe and they've got 200-year-old buildings. They have got 15-foot granite walls. I haven't seen any buildings here like that. We use stick, and so they're not going to last 200 years. We have different acreage. If I can get this thing working. Whoops. Pushed the wrong one. Back. There you go. These are the acreage. Mountain View is 6.5 acres. That's one of the problems we have at Mountain View. It's a very small space. Can't get a lot of activities on there. Lakeview, 15. Sundial, 10. Bell, 27. All of them are different. All of them have different requirements. This is the square feet in each of them. And this is the average usage by the people. And that depends on how many clubs are operating there, how many activities are operating there. I heard a bell ring. Does that mean I'm done? Okay, now we get to the Strategic Alternatives Committee. And the charge to them was to come up with alternative plans for how we could get out of the problems we had with Mountain View. And basically, I think the problem came down to they're trying to put too much on that 6.5 acres. But Up until Friday, the Strategic Alternatives Committee was still talking about what they needed to do. Committee organization. They picked every activity that was going to be impacted by whatever changes were made at Mountain View, and they put a representative on that committee. They put 2 representatives on that committee that live in the Oakmont, Mountain View area. And they put on a couple of at-large people so that they get a variety of ideas and viewpoints as to what's the best solution for the Mountain View issue. And we already did that. We held 16, that's outdated. I made that slide a long time ago. We held more than 16 2-hour meetings from May to October. Anybody care to guess what the temperature was here during that time? These are open meetings. They were attended by over 150 people, just like you. We had the committee people here talking and listening and getting information. And they had over 150 people just come and sit and see what's going on. They're all videotaped. They're all available at the website. We use data and trend analysis in our deliberations. We had field trips, individual and small group research, online research, competitor research, and we had an architect come in and give us some ideas of what could be done on that 6.5 acres. And we talked to management, and as many areas of information as we could get, that's what we did. We had a lot of idea sharing from all the clubs that were represented there. And we were trying to get a consensus that come together at what's the best thing for Sun City as a whole. We spent approximately 450 volunteer hours plus individual research studying those areas. Let me tell you, it was a long, hot summer. Complexity of this decision. What was the problem? Number one, we only had 6.5 acres to work with. A lot of that was taken up with existing activities. Nobody wanted their activity cut or eliminated. It got some pretty heated discussions. First issue was, where would we locate a PAC, a Performing Arts Center? It's always been at Mountain View with folding chairs, and if you've ever sat and watched a performance there, 20 minutes in that chair is about enough. I'm feeling sorry for you guys already. Is it going to be at Mountain View, or is it going to be someplace else? Are we going to renovate the building that's there, or are we going to put up a new building? What's the best bang for the buck that we can get and get something that everybody's proud of? In the process, we came across some things that we really didn't expect, and that is there's a lot of space needed for water volleyball, which was a surprise to me, dance, which was another surprise to me, and pickleball. And we knew pickleball needed more room. But these folks need more room too, so we couldn't solve those problems. So they're still on the table somewhere. How much money and space and effort should we allot, and where? All of this made this decision, which originally may have seemed simple, get very, very complicated. And we have to balance existing member wants and future needs. Sun City is a 64-year-old community. There have been articles in national magazines that Sun City is God's waiting room. That is not a good marketing program. We have all these shiny new facilities going up all around us, and they got brand new homes and brand new centers and all these exciting things. We are 64 years old. We have to compete with them. Okay. In our discussions, we came up with about 20-some alternative proposals. And you know, when you get that many, you've got a little word called chaos going on. But we struggled through it. We have now, as of last Friday, come up with 2 recommendations for the board to consider. Committees do not make decisions, they make recommendations. The board of directors are the ones that make the decisions. We have a Plan M, which means absolutely nothing to you. Under that plan, PAC, Performing Arts Center, would remain at Mountain View. What I'm going to give you are the 2 recommendations, a broad view of them, because we want to get into your questions and comments, and so that's the purpose of this meeting. But in order to have some of those, we need to give you background information. All existing activities would remain at Mountain View except tennis. Tennis, they agreed to give up the 2 courts if they could get some really good courts at Lakeview. So that was the deal that was struck there. Fitness is increased in size, swim activities are increased, and PAC is increased. Pickleball is increased, approximately 30%. That's one plan. Hopefully the second plan is there. PAC would remain at Mountain View with undetermined improvements in seatings. We really don't have any new cost estimates. 12 indoor pickleball courts, taking about 21,000 square feet. Estimated cost for the 8 courts is about $10 million. You folks know inflation has hit us, and so anything we do is going to be costly. But if we're going to attract new people here, we got to spend money. Fitness center increase in size, 15,000 square feet, estimated cost $7.5 million. I'm not sure this is the slide we want. Okay. Our meetings, all of our meetings that we held are on video presentation, handouts, not tonight, I'm sorry. I thought we'd have handouts, but we don't. From the work is there. Now, guidelines for open comments. We got a lot of people here and a lot of people want to talk, but it's got to be organized, it's got to be respectful, it's got to be functional and not just a hockey game. State your name and recreation card number. Make your comments brief so that others will have time to talk. We have had no idea how many of you would like to say, but if somebody wants to talk, they should have the time to do it. Raise your hand to be recognized. We have 3 people walking around with microphones so that you don't have to get up and come to a podium. They will hold the microphone while you make your comment. Please be polite and respectful. I know that's going out of style, but that's what we ask. And we want to get a variety of questions, and I know there are large groups here from different activities. So if we get a bunch of questions for one activity, then I'm going to ask if there are questions that are something other than that activity, so that everybody gets a chance to talk. I think that's fair. I hope you think it's fair. And so we'll go from here. You raise your hand, and somebody will present you with a microphone. In the yellow there, right there. Yellow stripe? I think it is, yeah. Somebody in the middle with a mic? No, right up here, chat. There you go.
Hi. Kim Kiesler, have lived in Sun City for about a year. My member number is 159527. So you had the 2 separate plans listed up there, and as I look at them, I'm not sure that they seem complete to me. So like the first one says the PAC will remain. Is it changing? Is it the same? The second one you comment, that you're not sure what's going to happen with it. And then on the second one, it doesn't say anything about the pool. Is the pool staying as it is, or are there changes?
Yeah, one of the items on there is that the pool is going to increase. What they have recommended, what they discussed, is that there be 2 pools, 1 pool added to what is there now, and that could be a lap pool, could be some other kind of pool. But our recommendation is that we have said what you've seen on the slides, And now we recommend to the board that when it gets to swimming activities, they deal with the people who are involved in the swimming activities. When it gets to mini golf, they deal with the people at mini golf so that you get something that is workable and appropriate. So that, this meeting isn't done, but we can't get down in the particular weeds. We were there all summer, by the way. But we came out of the weeds and made a general recommendation, 2 general recommendations. So, yes, the understanding is it'll stay. Question is, do you remodel it or do you replace it? Okay. And again, that's a board decision. Okay, someone else. Someone in the front row. Somebody got a mic? There you go. Yeah, you got to speak directly into the mic.
No, it's not on.
Oh, it's not on.
They're on.
Wait.
We should all be on.
Okay. I'm Lana. I'm on the SAC committee. I'm just curious, why don't we have Plan M map up there so people have a visual, so they have an idea what we're talking about? Because right now they have a list that doesn't make sense, but if you have the map up where they have a visual, I think it's a lot easier for people to follow.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. We tried to limit to 25, and we went to a little over 30. Adding more slides will take more time and take that away from comments, but I could see where we could put up a overhead view of both plans. And if I'm seeing a lot of heads nodding, yeah, everything's going to be on the website, but I think for the people who take the time to come here, that's probably a good suggestion. Okay, someone else with their hand up back there? There, he's
My name's Clarice Mayer. My rec card number is 115075. And I noticed on Plan B, you gave costs for pickleball and costs for something else, I can't remember, but you gave for fitness, but you gave no costs for the PAC being remodeled at Mountain View. Do you have a cost for that?
We have a cost from the architect, and it's, correct me, 27 million?
No.
No, well, it's 13.1 just for the theater, but the overall thing was 20. Yeah, the overall thing is 25 million, but the PAC theater would be somewhere 12, 13.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys with the mic, you circulate, and I'll see you give the mic to them. So, yeah, they're right in the front here.
Oh, thank you, Teresa. Hello. Great to see you all here. It's really super.
Can you give us
so many people have showed up. My primary...
Name and
too close? Oh, yes. My name is George Mosier, and I am 148444. Okay, anyway, I just wanted everyone to know that my primary concern is the pool area. I love swimming at Mountain View. And so the overall view that I get from talking with so many people, I swim probably 5 days a week, and they really like the pool the way it is. And we would love to have the deck redone, the plumbing fixed, upgraded. But the only other addition to the pool region would be to add an outdoor hot tub like we already have at the other facilities. So that's the primary thing with the pool. And then my only other real major comment tonight was I very much like what I'm hearing, that we're trying to save all the different facilities that currently exist. Love to hear the increases where they are. The one thing that I feel would really make a difference is if the theater area was actually made into a theater like you would see in a high school gym, not a gym, but a high school little theater where the acoustics are proper. And I would love to see more space for people in the drama club to be able to do what they need to do. That pretty much wraps it up, except mini golf. give us back our mini golf, please. Thank you, Teresa.
Okay. Okay, right over in the corner here.
Okay. My name is Linda Schmidt. My number is 139335. And watching how this process has gone for very complex building plans, I would suggest making it simple. It's my opinion, Mountain View is one of the most neglected recreation centers in Sun City. Its performing arts center is shameful, run down, and inadequate. The RCSC board can't seem to agree on a complex, multifaceted building project for Mountain View. Why not use a simple plan, a renovated performing arts center as a stand-alone project, using the same building but adding wood flooring, updated removable chairs, and adding more storage space. The RCSC board could then work on upgrades to the grounds of Mountain View after the PAC remodel is completed. Amenities could be made available during remodeling. Since actually getting a new state-of-the-art performing arts center built at a more central location will take several years of planning and construction, it would be beneficial to all Sun City residents to renovate the current performing arts center at Mountain View. It can then be used for performances, meetings, and dancing before and after a new performing arts center is built. The renovation could be done with resources already available and could be started in the spring of 2024. It is my sincere hope that the pickleballers will not be allowed to prevent these necessary and economical upgrades to the existing Performing Arts Center at Mountain View.
Thank you. Do you have someone back there? Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Mary Rorvik. My member number is 166674. And can you bring up Plan M again, please?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So I'm just curious, with the pickleball increase of approximately 30%, what does that design really look like?
Is that 12 to 14 courts? Okay.
What do you have there, Lana?
Yeah.
It should be, it was 8 courts according to the architect.
Was that the covered courts?
Yes, correct.
And does that allow for any like fences in between the courts or for any safety precautions?
The way she laid it out will probably require some further review to accomplish what you are suggesting needs to happen.
Okay, I'm just curious because I've actually played in a covered tennis facility back in Washington State, and they put 4 pickleball courts on 1 tennis court, and people were running into each other all the time, falling down, running into walls, and so that's a safety concern that we all have, us pickleballers. Sorry.
Okay, I have a question over here.
Yeah, and before we get to the next question, again, before anything we did done, we've recommended that the board members work with the pickleball players so that they do get something that's functional. Same with all the other activities that are going to be increased. Russ?
Yes, my name is...
It's
on.
Oh, my name is Sarah Mardell. My number 11435. We've had our home in Sun City since 1997 and became full-time residents about 11 years ago. I just wanted to piggyback on what Linda Schmidt said about having a wooden floor. If Mountain View is, if it's a done deal that Mountain View is where the Performing Arts Center will remain, then I think it is a great idea to put a wooden floor in, and I'll tell you why. I'm in line dance, and we get 6.5 hours of dancing per week on 2 days total, and that's all we get at Sundial. And at least 12 times a year, I'd say, we're sent to this room for dancing where there's no stage. The instructor cannot be seen. And for example, last Tuesday, we had 205 people dancing at Sundial. The Tuesday before, we had 220. You can't fit that many people here. Mountain View isn't fabulous, and the linoleum-covered concrete floor is really hard on artificial hips, artificial joints. Our elderly citizens, we have dancers in their 90s, a couple with canes or a walker, because we encourage people, even elderly, to be active. So if we had Mountain View as a place we could go when every time RCSC meets, we're kicked out of Sundial, and we know they're an important group to meet there. But if we had a really nice dance floor, at least Mountain View already has a stage, and it has microphones, a PA system. So that would be a better place for us to go when we can't dance at Sundial. So I'm really hoping you consider that. And I do agree with Linda that our Performing Arts Center is so shabby compared to what, like I've been to Sun City Grands, it's very nice. And our actors deserve a good Performing Arts Center. Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the surprises that came up, is that we were made very much aware that dancing does need some appropriate facilities to use, and that's in the works.
Karen Tolliver, 139186. Can you just give a highlight of the differences between M and B?
Do you mind if I...
Yeah, and I'm not making light of this because this is new to you. It's new to us. The committee only came up with this recommendation last Friday, and so we're still trying to sort through it and present what we know about it. And where'd Steve go?
I'm hiding. I think the things that are similar are they both Plan M and Plan B show 8 courts. Plan B shows possibly more, like 12 courts, okay? So the difference between, on the pickleball side I'm talking, obviously, there where the tennis courts are now, you would have, according to Plan M, 8 covered courts. Covered meaning like a non-fixed or non-rigid, non-strong supported, not like Marinette, for example. Okay, it's a more soft cover. In Plan B, it would be indoor climate-controlled courts. Does that help, Karen? No.
No, specific.
Do you mind if I give an overview of?
Is that specifically what's staying, what's going, what's M saying is staying, what's B saying is staying, the differences. Yeah, I'm not here necessarily for pickleball.
Okay, we're just having a little side discussion here because we're volunteers. We're not expert presenters and studiers, but we've been working at this. In regards to the pickleball, again, we've recommended to the board that they work with the pickleball players so that they get an adequate situation.
Norm, maybe I can try a little bit more detail for Karen. Okay, so Karen, there's a pack in both at Mountain View, okay? They had an architect for Plan M, okay? And just so you know, Plan M is because Marlene's the name of the architect, if anybody cares about how he got to M. And the Plan M shows renovation. It shows that it's about $13.1 million by the architect's estimate. Plan B did not have access to architect costing, so it's absent in terms of costing for the pack. What stays in all those cases is mini golf, The pool, as this gentleman was asking, and by the way, in both cases, Plan M and Plan B, there would be an outdoor spa, okay, outdoor hot tub. What else am I missing? Anyone on SAC?
Lawn bowling.
Lawn bowling remains in both cases. They're both very. There's a lot of similarities between the two of them. Okay. What really happened? I guess that's the only change. What happens is in Plan B, the fitness center is extended into a picnic area, a picnic table area that isn't currently used. It hasn't been used in a long time, frankly. So that would expand the fitness center into a 2-story fitness center overlooking pool and golf course in Plan B. That's probably the biggest difference between Plan M and B that I can think of, but maybe someone else from SAC could say that.
Right here.
Yes, Bill's right. Lost it. Mini golf stays.
Steve and Norma, I think what we have to do is we have to have handouts for next time.
That we asked for them this time, but didn't get them. Okay.
All right, guys.
Don Shorgy, 271.
Don, directional mic, you got to speak right into it.
Right into it?
Yep.
Am I on now?
Yep.
Don Shorgy, 27140. I do have a copy of Plan M in front of me. Plan M was really designed by Marlene Emerzian, and her approach was to assign zones to the various activities that are now at that facility and those we intend to put there. She identified 12 basic zones that needed to be developed. Everyone had their say as to what they wanted within that zone, and then we had to back off, or I should say they had to back off when it got to the point where the expense was getting out of hand. But under that plan, the existing theater remained, and yes, it was going to be expensive to renovate it. Under the existing plan, just to the north of the theater, there would be additional pickleball. There was a pickleball that would remain, that was at the north end, and there would be new shaded and vented pickleball courts that would be just to the south of that, but next to the theater. Now, under that plan, it would lend itself very well to development. It was very logical. And Marlene, being a professional, had professional cost analysis done based upon what everybody agreed upon would be fair, that they were willing to give up, and those things that they wanted to retain. And I thought that this was well thought out and very professional. The Plan B, the basic difference that I saw was it seemed to be designed more in the more to the liking of one club to increase the maximum amount of pickleball courts to the north. And that would mean building a rather expensive complex just north of the theater, which was to be renovated. Now, if you think about that, this is driving the costs up again. And my concern would be with Plan B that when the costs would come in for an enclosed 2-story or whatever air-conditioned pickleball court, along with a redesigned theater, we would end up with a pickleball building that looked like a Costco warehouse and a 70-year-old or 60-year-old building right next to it that was not properly redesigned. I believe that the Plan M is well thought out and satisfied most people. In fact, I was there for most of the meetings, and I believe there was consensus among most of the participants, with the exception of one club. And that basically is the way I understood things. And that's all I have to say.
All right. I'm Susan Chatterjee. My number is 121321. I was on the Strategic Planning Committee. Yeah, that's pretty good summary right there. Plan M, we did end up working with the architect in the end. And along the way, we voted every single step. What would we like? What wouldn't we like? She took our votes into account and then came up with a general consensus. It's not a real plan. It's just this is how much acreage we have. This is what we currently have. What can we put there for the money that we have? We were trying to work within the approximate budget, which was approximately $27 million that we were given. And with the plan that she came up with in the end, everything stayed that was already there. The Performing Arts Center, that building was going to be renovated, but not just new carpet and stuff. Basically, they were going to blow out all the walls except for the supporting columns and start all over. And all new theater seating, so like you see in a movie theater, all new sound system, everything, all new. So that explains the cost. Along with that, pickleball, obviously we thought needed to be increased in Sun City. And in her plan, there actually are 17 pickleball courts, an increase of 10 courts from what we had. And 8 of those will be under cover. And that cover, the structure is actually created and made in such a way that in the future, if Sun City wanted to put more money into it, we wouldn't have to replace the structure. We would just have to enclose it and air condition it. So best use of funds. The pool was going to stay the same, only totally rehabbed, redone, and with a better access for people with handicap needs. And a brand new pool added that had lap capability, water volleyball capability, and other things that could be used for. Outdoor spa, just so much. The fitness center was going to be enlarged and put to 2 stories. And she just really took what we wanted and thought of and gave us what we needed and kept it in the end with a professional budget put together by her crew. That included everything. Cost of new plumbing, cost of electrical, cost of supplies, and still kept it within the budget we currently have. So that's the plan that I support.
Thank you. Is this on?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Good. Okay.
Yeah,
My name is Kim True, 131513. I've just arrived here for our 8th year about a week ago, and I want to just share, I'm delighted to be here. This is our home, our other home, and this is home. I remember 8 years ago being given a tour of Sun City and seeing the Performing Arts Center and thinking, you know, I think I'd kind of like to join that group. I never quite got around to it. I've been to a few shows, but I never joined it. Along the way, pickleball stumbled into me, or I stumbled into pickleball. And I want to just share this about it. 8 years ago, pickleball had maybe 300 members. I understand that we're over 1,100 members today. And I can share that it is getting ever more difficult to get court time almost any time of the day. The pressure has increased as the numbers that I've just shared, you know, 300 to 1,100 members. And you don't have to be a member to play pickleball, but most of us are at some point or another. So I'm just sticking my oar in for pickleball, more courts. I want to, in closing, just say thank you to all that have been looking at it, really wrinkling the gray matter and trying to come up with workable solutions. You're really doing an impossible job, but you're doing it and you're making progress. Just thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Who's up next? My name is Linda Van House, and my number is 126451. I like the last gentleman, am just a new member of Sun City on a permanent basis, although I've had access to Sun City since 1983, when my parents bought the home that I now live in, and for the last 6 years I've been a snowbird here.
You make me look like a new person, 1983.
However, I have always used Mountain View because it's just literally right around the corner from where I live, and it is a beautiful facility, but over the years I have seen it very much deteriorating because it has not been completely renovated much in the last few years. I have two things that I want to say about this plan, which I think is wonderful, that it's well thought out, and I've been to some of the other meetings since I've been here, and last year I was to some of the planning meetings, and I think everybody's working very hard, and I think they've come up with some very workable things. However, I just want to say, number one, that I agree with this gentleman here that the pool has to stay because it is the best pool in Sun City, and it really doesn't need much work. It just needs some upgrade and some newer ideas. The second thing I want to really say is about this fitness center, which is absolutely pathetic and has been since I started here. But what is the consideration that just down the road at Fairview, there's a state-of-the-art fitness center, and it's really not that far away. And I just wonder how much money should be put into the one at Mountain View, that maybe that space could be used instead of building out like I guess they're talking about a 2-story building now. And the other thing that I want to say is, you're talking about the performing arts, which I agree with, it should stay there, but nobody has really mentioned that the parking has to be considered there too, because when there's an event, it is very difficult to maneuver around our area because the parking is not that adequate.
Yeah, the parking is always a problem at all the centers, and there are county codes as to how many parking spots you have to have for how many 100 square feet. Okay, other comments?
Hi, I'm Alice Krenko. My number is 53622. We bought a home in 2005, right? Yeah. We were still teaching. But I agree with the lady that explained in detail about, I guess it's M that we're looking at. We do a lot of swimming at here, as well as going to Mountain View. And my husband does a lot of fitness at Mountain View, and it's pathetic, like someone said. And our centers are great, but we are really behind times. And it's embarrassing when I bring friends out here and say, oh, you know, let's go to Mountain View because I feel it's like a resort. I see the palm trees. I really feel it's beautiful. And then I say, oh, we can't play putt-putt for another year because it's closed. And we used to have a really nice, spa, but that's closed. It is getting to be a little embarrassing. I hate for us to keep going year after year, dragging our feet and not getting anywhere. So I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm glad to be here at the meeting, and I would like to just move forward and let's do things.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tom Swenson, 135906, and I sat in, if there were 20 SAC meetings, I feel like I was at 24. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, now the two plans, M on the right side, is by a professional who got a professional cost estimator to do all the numbers. Each zone has an approximate cost assigned to it with an approximate total, which is very close to the entire budget for Mountain View. Now, apples to oranges. On the left side, this was a plan put together by lay people, and the costs assigned to it are completely inadequate. I mean, they're just like I don't know where they came from. They took some number of square footage and multiply it by square feet or something, but they're not legitimate cost estimates by any measure, and they certainly are not complete. So I just want to let you know that one is a professional, one is somebody's guess at pieces, and we're just going to let the other parts go. Like, well, when we get there, we'll figure out how much it's going to cost. The whole reason that the SAC was set up, as they said, the old Mountain View plan was completely budgetarily ridiculous. I don't want us to go back to the same ridiculousness as it was defined then in the new budgeting. I'm much more comfortable with the budget over there. Now, truth be told, I'm with Sun City Players, so I have a vested interest in that theater. But we gave up all kinds of things with the aim of doing our part to carve back what we could to make it all work. And I can't tell you, I don't have time to list all the things we've sacrificed, but we want to have at least what Marlene is wanting to give us. That's all.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Lou Ann Montalvo, 155-315. My question is, how much consideration was given to, like, this club has 100 members and you got 5,700 over here, or what? Was any consideration given to that? Like, how many people are going to do this activity versus that one? Was that taken into consideration in making these decisions for your plans?
We had all of the attendance numbers for the previous year of all of the activities, and the attendance numbers from the monitors, which are the swimming exercise areas that are not clubs as such. So we had those numbers available to us, and they were used in our discussions.
And I do want to say, any additional shade you can give us on the pickleball courts is much appreciated. I don't know about other people, but I'm old and my skin is tired. So any shade to prevent future sun damage would be appreciated. Thank you.
I wish it was only my skin that was tired.
I hope I don't forget my number. Eileen Daniel. Oh, wow. Eileen Daniels, 159931. I'm just have a question about M as far as the shade goes for the pickleball courts down in Mountain View. Is there going to be any fans? Is there going to be any screens, or is it just the roof that is going to be included? Because up in Marinette, it took, I don't know, I've been here for 2 years, maybe 5 years, for fans on a pole, and that took a long time. And we were here at 115 degrees playing in Marinette, and those fans were a lifesaver. So if you want people to play year-round down here at Mountain View, you're going to need to also include some kind of air circulation and, well, air conditioning is nice, but in the same sense, if we go with Plan M, you still need to think about the fans.
And again, I'll mention that our recommendation says that the activity involved should be the activity that's being improved or whatever. The people who are running that activity have to be involved so that we get it done, because none of us are experts in everything. And so the people that are doing the tennis or the pickleball or baseball, they're the ones that know what they need, and they're the ones that can talk to the architect and figure out what it is.
My name is Barb Erickson, 132081. I just have a question. If you renovate the theater, is that large enough to hold the board meetings so that dancing at Mountain View is not disrupted?
It depends how contentious the people are at that time of year. But yeah, they're looking at, what was it? What was the totals on it? They were looking at between 300 and 400. And again, that's going to be determined by the space available, by the money available, and all that.
Yeah, Bernie Sauvé, 159547. And just concerning listening with Plan M, where they want to possibly come up with a lap pool, which I think would be a fantastic idea. I'm I'm a swimmer. I have to go all the way to the Bell Center to swim in a lap facility. But also working with the people from the swim clubs, same way. If they do put in a lap pool there, we would like to see them put a chiller on it. Because I've tried to swim in Mountain View. I'm a competitive swimmer. I've tried to swim in Mountain View at 92 degrees. It doesn't work. So, you know, you got to put something in that water, and then also for a health factor. You have somebody pass out in one of these pools when that water's hot, RCSC is going to be in a deep, deep hole. So just to think of that, and just the little things where you say working with the people from the clubs, being a competitive swimmer, you need a black cross on that white wall down there when you make your turn so that you don't run into it head first. Which you don't, the only pool that does is Bell.
Yeah, I can't see above water, so I don't know how I'd see underwater.
The temperature of the pools was considered too, though. That's been discussed.
Mark Prince, 163612. Just had a question. You talked about participation numbers. Can you share those with us?
Not off the top of my head, but give me a shot.
Okay, I'll give you a shot.
What particular activity?
All the activities, if you can.
Well, no, we got 130 clubs. I can't do that, I'll guarantee you. I can name a few, but not 130.
The top 10, the top 5?
I know the top 2 outdoors. That would be pickleball and lawn bowling.
There's some reports like that on the website under the SAC.
We actually have those. Yeah.
Oh, you lost your mic. Which is, yeah, you got to get
I'm just referring you back to the website under the SAC. There's a lot of information on participation and numbers, and I think that you'll get everything you need right there.
Go ahead.
Hi, Doug Hill, 115249. So if I'm understanding things correctly, you've got full costings for Plan M. And if I'm understanding things correctly, Plan B is not fully costed or accurately costed. Are you planning to take to the board Plan M versus Plan B and asking them to make a decision without having accurate costings?
No. No. We were asked to make alternatives to the Mountain View plan that was in existence, which other people have referred to. We are done now as far as, unless the board wants to give us another task to do. Now the board is going to have to listen to these comments. We've got 4 of these town halls going on. And before they go anywhere, they're going to have to get more accurate figures from architects for this, either these 2 plans or a 3rd plan that comes up. So yes, you will get more figures.
Alice is back.
My name's Alice Ritzman, 144148. Between B and M, there's a lot of letters. Were these the only 2? Were these the only 2 plans? And I guess a little more clarification about why was one costed out by an architect and why was the other one or other ones not?
The difference is that we had over 20 alternative ideas presented in these 20-some meetings, and don't ask me to recall all of those because I can't. I'm deliberately trying to forget most of those meetings. And so what we have done is given this to the board as 2 alternatives available. They're not limited to these 2. They can come up with other ideas. They can get another architect to come in. Each architect is going to have a different way to make it look really, really good. So this is just in the initial stages, which is why we're holding these town halls, so that we're trying to inform you of where we are right now. And as far as looking into the future, I can't look into the future. But we've got a little bit of a road plan, and The board asked us to give alternatives. We gave alternatives. Are they perfect? No, because they're both compromise issues, and that's the way the world works. So we're going to try and do the best, and we'll be available for future help if the board requires it, but now it's sort of in the board's hands. Somebody with a mic? You got someone over there?
Okay, try to answer your question. I sent Matthew email saying that on Mondays, a lot of the stuff doesn't go on at Sundial, and I think Teresa would know more about the other days, like Wednesday and Friday. Probably Wednesday you have more stuff going on, but Fridays, those days that's not being used during the day except for by aerobics, whose total roster is 91 people. And that's broke up in 2 days. When you've got the line dance club that has, are you at the Sundial? No, I'm talking about Sundial aerobics, Sundial, okay. Their total roster, and I got these numbers, so they're accurate, is 91. And if half of our dancers show up, our roster is over 500. We get 200, we've been getting 200 and over and on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if the board could move to one of the other days where you might have 50 aerobic dancers that can move into a facility like this, which it will hold them, not like displacing 200 dancers. Okay, so does that help? And then another note on Mountain View. What I would like to see is put in the flat wood floor at the current PAC. Make it nice until they can build a new performing arts center, state-of-the-art, at Lakeview. But until that is built, the players would still have a great place to perform until a new, better place is built. So I don't know if that's, that's just a suggestion. So it might not go anywhere, but I thought I would throw it out there because they deserve the best.
Thank you.
Jim Kepler, 127409. I was involved in the first planning committee for Mountain View, and I was also involved partially for the second one. One of the gentlemen here asked the data for Mountain View. The problem is, a lot of those activities, nobody's checking in. We don't have good numbers for how many people play pickleball sometimes. It's a score, a sheet that somebody takes up to the office, but I've talked to those people. They say some of the numbers don't match up. Mini golf, I play mini golf there quite often. You just write your number down. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. So the problem was, without a secure facility like you have at Bell or Lakeview, the numbers weren't really good numbers. So if you see things that look somewhat small, it's probably because it's not true.
Thank you.
Mary Rorvik again, 166674. I'm just curious, the consensus is we really need to improve the overall facilities here at Sun City to keep our community viable. So what's the deadline of actually implementing one of these plans? And a follow-up question I have is that we talked about, the different groups getting, going back to the pickleball club to decide, what we're going to do with the pickleball facility, or going to the theater group, what we're going to do. What's the budget for each of those items? Is it going to be a finite amount that they have to work with in order to come up with what those specific items are going to be?
There's always a finite number.
I know, and inflation is still going up. So if we don't start moving, it's just going to get more expensive. And I know you're aware of that. Thank you.
Our recommendation is that whatever plan should be done with a sense of urgency. We agree with that.
Okay, go ahead, you.
Okay.
We got one up here. We got one up here, Rayton.
Got one back there.
Karen Stumpf, 122839. I appreciate all that you guys have done over the summer and through the years, but like the lady said, we need an end result, not down the road another 20 years. People have said, well, we voted on that 20 years ago. My husband's dead, and he still hasn't seen anything. So do we have a end date?
No. No. Answer is no to that question. We've got a gentleman up here that's been standing.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Tad Daughters, 117436. One of the purposes of these town meetings is to get further information and input for the use of the board. So we're not limited to the two alternatives here. Much as I have a preference for one of them, it's a matter of we're getting additional information from all of you here tonight and in the next 3 town hall meetings. So that's where we're looking for additional information. Thank you.
Dennis, did you have a?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm on the long-range planning, but Steve said I can make a comment anyway. So
Yeah, exactly.
He'll let me. Oh, Norm said, okay.
See, they're blaming me again.
I'm not a pickleball player and probably never will be a pickleball player, but I would like to defend a little bit of them. If you look at where you've got good numbers, we're looking at pickleball, which is, the fastest growing club around. We're spending about $2.5 million on them. The fitness center, which is the second least fitness center in Sun City, and if you take the 3 smallest fitness centers, they represent 10% of the total. The other 4 are 90%. We're spending twice as much money on that little used fitness center as we are on pickleball. That doesn't quite seem data-driven to me. It looks like we're trying to ignore the data. Yeah. It's got equipment. I mean, it's only 0.7 of a mile to here. And we've got unused equipment in every fitness center. So that's just I'm wondering why we want to spend that much money on something that very few people use and not spend it on the people that do need additional facilities.
Thank you. Somebody else have a mic?
Yes.
You have a mic?
Hi there. Yes.
Okay.
Luann Montalvo again, 155315. I just want to say, does it really make sense to spend $13 million to appease 100 people on the theater thing when you've got thousands of people?
Whoa.
Excuse me, I listened to everybody else's comments.
Excuse me.
One moment, please.
Excuse me. We've been doing so well. Let's not spoil it in the last half hour, okay? Everybody has a viewpoint.
I'm not throwing stones.
Let her talk.
I just want to make my comment, and you can come to my house and egg me if you want later. Okay. I'm just saying, to me, when I look at this, there's a smaller group that's got a huge voice in this, and maybe a lot of them might have been on the planning committee, and maybe that's other groups' fault for not being there and putting forth. But we do have a huge amount of pickleball players, and it's like the gentleman mentioned, it's the fastest growing sport going on right now. My last part on that, your own slide said you wanted to be a community that was the leader in the nation. So why not provide that sport the facilities that it needs? Instead of saying, well, I'm sorry you weren't at the last meeting. Thank you very much for your time, everyone.
Hi. Am I up here? Okay. Gay Jones, my number is 165025. I happen to be the membership chair for the Pickleball Club, so I have a bit of a bias here, I suppose, but I do understand that all of these other clubs, they do also deserve to be updated. We are getting a little bit run down in a lot of areas. As for the Pickleball Club, I've been on the board now. This is my 3rd year, and our membership has doubled So my concern is that we need to also start looking 5 years out, not just what we need today. And we're very low in we need extra pickleball courts. And I went and toured one of the other facilities recently, and so they send me some information. And the Robson Living facilities, the front page of their promo material shows we have 98 pickleball courts and a big picture of the pickleball courts. And I know a few people now that have bought homes over there just because of that. And we really want to be aware of the fact that what people want is where they're going to go, and our home values may be dependent on that. We also need facilities that can be used year-round. With the economy today, a lot of people are not snowbirds. They want to live here for 12 months, and they can't live here for 12 months if they want to play pickleball because it's too hot in the summer. So I think that also we're getting a little bit younger group coming, and fitness centers are important, pickleball courts are important, and I just think we need to look 5 years out, and also that we need to do something before we're all dead. So I appreciate what some of the other people have said about that. And thanks so much to this committee. You guys have done a phenomenal job, and we do appreciate you, even if you get some flack.
Well, I'm a lot closer to the end than you are. Bill, or we got two people up here. Whoever.
Okay.
Let the lady go first, Bill.
Thank you. Charlotte Bowens, 49207. What I heard out of this is the theater is going to be used for a couple things, which in my mind is very economical. Why not set it up so we can use it for more things? So you can use it for meetings, so we can use it for dancing. That's the only thing I saw today that can be used for more than one thing. I don't know what more economical than that.
Yeah. Thank you. Bill?
Bill Loslow, rec card number 1. Upgraded to 1638. I've been on one committee or another for the past 18 years. And Mountain View has been talked about every year of the 18. And Mountain View was supposed to be done after this building was finished. But things change. But getting back to the Performing Arts Center, it's not just for the players. There are 11 performing arts clubs in Sun City. So it's not just one club. And the other thing about the Performing Arts Center is it's for the whole community, because you can come there and be entertained. So it's not just for the club, it's for the entire community. And out of 9 Sun Cities, we are one of only 2 that don't have a Performing Arts Center.
Just a little comment off topic here. He said his rec card was number 1, and of course he was fooling around. How many people in here have a rec card with 4 digits? You and I. We're the only ones that got 4 digits. Oh, we got 3. Okay. All right. Someone else with a comment? Back in the back there.
Hi, my name's Kathleen Strawn. My number's 144364. Been a resident here since 2018 and a member of the Aqua Fitness Club. Absolutely love the water aerobics here. My doctors think they're great. Invite all of you to come and join us. We have about 900 members, and we have 7 classes. We used to have 14. We've been cut. Oh, we have 16 now? Okay, all right. But we still have quite a few members, right? We have 861 as of last Saturday. 861 members, and they're not even all back in town yet. So we use the pools. We don't have a meeting room. We just have the pools. So for those of you who live around the pools and have to listen to that every morning at 9 o'clock, well, come join us. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob McClan, number 129614. I just want to say population growth. Where are we going to be next 5 to 10 years here? My wife Judy and I, we use this facility at least 5 days a week. When we go into the workout center, oftentimes it's busy. There's times it's busy in the pool. I also want to say, on behalf of this gentleman here, we're also members of the Ukulele Club. That art center, we bring in the Ukulele Club professionals. That center, trust me, will be used by our club, and our club is over 100 people. So that extension there will plug in terms of our club. So what I'm leading to here is over the next 5 to 10 years, this population is going to, now some of us are going to die off, I understand.
Easy there.
But our population is going to continue to grow. This workout center at Mountain View, I really think is important because this facility is going to get real busy over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and the Long Range Planning did a study about 3 or 4 years ago, and there are some serious changes coming to Sun City, and you need to be aware of these. And serving on a committee like Long Range Planning, you do get to become aware of this. The studies show that the next generation is not going to have the Social Security money that we have. They are not going to have the pensions from the private firms that they work for, or they're going to be smaller. And of course, you all know inflation is going to continue. And so what we're going to end up with, inevitably, is we're going to have a whole lot of people that are working either full-time or part-time and living here. Now, why does that create a change? You're not going to be able to close your clubs at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because they don't get home from work till 5, and they don't finish eating till 6. They want to come and use the facilities, but they're working. And so we have to meet the needs of the people that are here, and we also have to meet the needs of the people that are coming. It's sort of like changing the tire on a moving car. Very, very difficult, and that's why we have these committees working. And it gets a lot more complicated as we go on, but yes, there are going to be serious changes. And our average age is 74.4, I believe, give or take a few tenths. Other comments?
Hi, David Moore, 145308. I noticed that we've stayed on this topic a while when there was a list of things that we could go over. I don't know if that's because we're so close to it here on this side of the valley, or this side of the Sun City. Was it intended for this meeting just to go over the rec center?
The Mountain View project is the one that's on the table right now, and it needs to be dealt with one way or the other in order to get it done.
So is the budget and a few other things. Can they be talked about at the other meetings coming up?
Sure. You can. Well, we're going to have 3 more town meetings, but you can bring up whatever you want. You want to talk budget? We can. We're not experts, but we can talk it.
This meeting's kind of, like I say, gone towards that one building, and so. All right.
Because that's the active project right now.
All right. Thank you.
You got one? Okay.
Milton Lepsack, 130662. I'm a relative newcomer. We've been RCSC members for 8 years, since 2015. We live in the Mountain View area. I've tried to follow the Mountain View projects from 2015 to 2023. First of all, I want to congratulate the current approach by the board members and the Strategic Alternative Committee to be more transparent with the membership as to what concrete plans they may have for the future. I think in the past that was seriously lacking. I think this, to me, it boils down to 2 factors. you have two plans up here. One plan designed by an architect, which has a good deal of specific information, including cost information, as opposed to another plan, which seems to me to be very vague and has very little information about the cost. To me, the primary needs for renovating the center are cost and what can be fit on the site. You've shown a figure of 6.7 acres or something like that. To me, the Plan B is totally unfeasible for that size of a site. And the cost is apparently, I haven't seen a cost that makes any sense to me. So those are my comments.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's what we've been discussing for all summer. Okay.
Hello again. I'm George Mosier, 148444. The one comment I wanted to make was that the one thing that I haven't noticed, which is a big part of what's going to happen with this change, no matter what, are the solar panels. And so I just want to be sure that whoever is really doing the work on this has taken into consideration the solar panels that are part of the parking are fabulous when it's 110 outside and you can park your car under them. And the other part was that one of the reasons that the Mountain View mini golf is so nice is that it is shaded with several sets of solar panels. And the reason I bring this up is that I've got a feeling that the majority of those solar panels are no longer operating. It's been quite a period of time. So that's it. Thank you.
I have a question, Norm.
Joanne Greeny, 106561. I've lived here since '09. My folks moved here in '76. We've been talking about Mountain View ever since I can remember. And the Performing Arts Center has been waiting well over 5, 6, 7 years for a new center. It is time to give them priority. They have been first in line for over 5, 6, 7 years. I think they deserve to be the #1 priority. Pickleball, have nothing against pickleball, but they're last in line. I'm sorry. And it's, we'll help you, but I think if we can get a great performing arts center, make it fantastic, and use it for all of these different activities, it's going to relieve the pressure of Sundial and maybe even here, and just let's get going on this project yesterday.
Thank you. Back in the side there.
Dennis Christ, 124779. Question for the committee. When you analyzed the input from the ASU study, where did the Performing Arts Center come up in that? How many people of Sun City felt that there was a need for more performing arts?
Steve, you're closer to that. You want to deal with that, or?
Yeah, I really wish that we had another individual from the Long Range Planning Committee here that's not here right now. He's better at the data. But yes, Was
it very high? Was it above 10%? Or 20, 30%?
Okay, let me see if I understand the question correctly. You're asking what the amount of usage is for...
No, I ask you how many people in that survey said they want more performing arts opportunities.
Yeah, I think I don't recall that there was a specific question asking for Performing Arts Center. I think that there were more activity, physical activity type questions. So naturally, pickleball would get recognized in that regard.
My question is, of the RCSC management, have they done a study as to what it's going to cost to manage that property? Because I don't think any one of the 7 or 8 clubs that are performing arts clubs are going to take control of that building and basically make sure it is being utilized. Because somebody is going to have to, Teresa, she does a great job with the performing arts at Sundial, but there you have 13 or 14 or 1,500 seats, each getting $30 per ticket. Now if you have a 350-seat stadium or performing arts center, are you going to be able to bring in a good quality Vegas act down here and maybe only get offer $10,000? I don't know how that's going to happen, because you're not going to get quality performers to come in here for only $10,000 per performance. So that's my question. You're going to spend $13 million on a performing arts facility. Where is the payoff going to be? Because you are obligated to make an investment for all of the people. And if you'd spend $13 million for only 100 people or so, which is, I've heard that, and you could very easily do other things besides build a new facility, because I know John Fast, I looked at some of the meetings that you've had over the summer, and there are opportunities for you to make quality seating on existing facilities, Sundial and this one at Mountain View, for removable seating. You could put wooden floors in it so that the dance people can still use it when you retract the seats. So are there other opportunities that the committee should be looking at to provide a good performing arts center in addition to not spending so much money?
And I'll just comment on that. The committee did address a lot of that. So the SAC committee did look at a lot of what you suggested should be looked at.
You basically say that it's justified. If you as a committee say that it was justified to spend this much money for the benefit of so few Sun City members. That's
Laura Kukler.
Who's up? So let me make a comment in response to that first, please. Oh, that's Laura. Okay. Boy, I'm going to get in trouble for interrupting her. You use the number 100, and we are data-driven, but you got to be very careful about the numbers. I don't know what the number is of the players and of the construction people and everybody that makes those plays possible. But into that, you have to also throw in the attendance figures from Sun City residents. At 74.4 years, not many of us are going to drive down at nighttime to Phoenix. Some of us won't even drive down to 83rd Avenue for the other play. Some of us won't even go to Sun City Grand to go to the theater. But when we put up this building here, we went from 40,000 feet to 94,000 square feet. Everybody said it was a Taj Mahal. It'll never fill. It has more than filled. And it goes back to the Field of Dreams. You build it, and they will come. And if you provide comfortable seating and professional acoustics, people are going to stay here and see the performances. And I think it's very rewarding to see some, and I'll say young 70-year-old, get on stage and remember his lines and perform. I think that's just great. That's what we're here for, is to provide that kind of a lifestyle. Does it cost money? You better believe it costs money. And everything now is in the millions. But that's mine. Laura, go ahead.
Laura Kukler, 23157. As far as the Mountain View Performing Arts Center, that is meant for use by Sun City residents to do performing, not to bring in acts to make money like they would at a professional theater. There are a lot of organizations that perform and have audiences. Some of them are open to the public and others aren't. You have piano clubs, you have choral groups, you have bands, you have orchestras. Those are the kind of groups that would be using this facility built for the people of Sun City, to be used by the people of Sun City. If you talk about what's the return on investment, how much money does pickleball contribute to the RCSC? You're asking how much money will this theater contribute to the RCSC? What kind of a profit will it make? That's not the purpose. This is Sun City's recreational facility, the same as pickleball. We aren't expecting pickleball to contribute to Sun City. There was another comment I noticed about wanting, if they build the pickleball, they want fans. Aqua Fitness, out of its own budget, provided heaters for the outdoor evening classes in the past at Oakmont. The Players Club has provided sound equipment for the performing groups at Mountain View. If pickleball needs fans and has some funds, provide them yourself. And the same thing for the chillers at the lap pool. I think the club paid for it. I'm not positive. But some of these things, these clubs have budgets that can afford to improve the facility, not just for the club, but for the rest of Sun City. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we've got a lady in the back by the door. She's ready for a quick exit.
And I have a quick question.
Don Shorje, 27140. To kind of reinforce what Laura just said, the performing arts clubs in Sun City are the ones who benefit from the theater, but it is Sun City who benefits from these clubs. They're of the approximately 135 clubs in Sun City. It is the Sun City Players and 10 other groups that serve the community through entertainment and education. In the 5 years prior to COVID, the Sun City Players directly they contributed directly $57,000 directly to the RCSC for rental and technical charges. It was never intended that a theater should be put up to bring in outside performing arts. We've got the Sun Bowl for that, and the Sundial has been for the rain venue or whatever. But anyway, I just want to make that point. What other clubs, whether it be stained glass or china or ceramics or the Railroad Club, donate back to the rec centers in that venue, in their venue?
Okay, thank you. Back, yeah.
Okay, my name is Constance Sherman.
Okay.
127101. My only concern, I'm on a couple of committees, but my only concern is parking. Parking is very limited. If you take out any more, it's going to be where you're going to have to shuttle people, in my opinion. And all of my concern is the only thing is parking.
That's a problem for all of our centers with the county requirements for number of parking spots per square feet. Next. Somebody has a microphone.
Hi, my name is Mike Mardell, 11434. And I don't know if this has been mentioned before, but we got 1,000 acres of golf course. And we've got parking lots where we go in and check in and everything. So the parking lots are there. For the pickleballers, I don't see with the water restrictions and the way they have to change some of the golf courses, I don't see why they couldn't fit in certain areas, a couple of pickleball courts, and a couple here, a couple there, and I'm a golfer, so I see areas out there that, you know, that they could change a little bit the tee boxes on the holes 1 and 9 or whatever, and
Okay. If we could hold the comments to people with microphones,
anyway,
it would
you.
help. Thank you. You got one up here.
Good evening. My name is Lori Ellingson, member number 133335. I purchased a home here in 2015. I'm a 3-minute bicycle ride from Mountain View. My parents purchased a home in '97. Like Norm, my mother has a 4-digit member number. I have been participating and enjoying the facilities here in Sun City since 1997. I participate in tennis, pickleball, mini golf. I have attended the plays for several performances. I participate in swimming. I do all the activities. This is not pickleball versus line dancing versus pack. What we are trying to do today, this evening, and with this whole project is change. Del Webb was born May 17th, 1899. He was 61 years old when they had the grand opening of Sun City. At age 56 or 57, he had the vision to create the very first 55 active retirement community. At that point, it was the one and only. There were no other facilities like that. 63 years later, we have Sun City West, Sun City Grand, Sun City Festival. We have Anthem. We have Trilogy at Vistancia. We have Pebble Creek. We have all the Robeson, Saddlebrook. There are lots and lots and lots of 55 retirement communities. What we need to think about is how are we going to change in order to stay competitive with the newer, the nicer, the more bells and whistles. People that have come to visit, they take a look at our facilities and they decide, I don't think so. If you walk right across the street, there used to be a funeral home. It is now a drug rehab center. If you walk right behind Walgreens and you go through the alley that separates that strip mall from the Sun Bowl, you will see homeless people that have made that area their new home. We are bringing low-income people into the retirement community. The last 5 people that I've talked to, when I said, why did you move here? Their answer was, this was the only place I could afford. These people all live in Phoenix and they're moving to Sun City because this is where they can afford. Del Webb did not say, I want a place, an affordable housing. He said, I want active retirement community. The proposed mission to be a national leader in a 55+ socially active lifestyle community. So what you need to think about, is what is best for the people that are going to move here in the future, the baby boomers that are now retiring. What do they want? So I'm going to leave with 2 statements. Number 1, Albert Einstein, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. And the other one, Charles Darwin, it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change.
Tim.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Hatzenbeller. 151,650, so I'm like way down the list. Anyway, I do echo a similar sentiment right there. It's a shame that it has to be PAX versus pickleball. I mean, I have no idea who started that, but it's a shame. I, for one, love pickleball. I love going to a play and watching my kids perform and all of that. So I would be a consumer of that particular usage. And I agree. I don't think it's 100 people. I think there's probably 1,500 people that would probably use the facility. I agree that the PAX would be great for the community, and I really hope, that we can figure out the solution because I would support it. My only negative is I know there's not enough information around B, so it doesn't feel like it's going to be evaluated. Maybe there's no merit to it. But I will just draw out on the pickleball. So I think the covering idea would work if you're living in Seattle and it's gray. But here, I'd be concerned about just having a cover over the top of it for a sunshade, because it's kind of like playing in a train tunnel, where you have sun on one end and all of a sudden you can't see anything. The ball is just bright and it's going to hurt somebody. I just don't think the architect maybe played with a covering. But if you're in Seattle and it's gray, it'd be perfect. I think that was kind of the history learned at Marinette. I think it used to be open, and then they realized it was just impossible to see, so they brought those sunshades in to cover the building. I think it was a compromise. Instead of making it climate control, at least they can make it safe. So that was really the only thing I wanted to draw out is I just don't know if the covering idea works, but I haven't seen it, haven't seen the full map. It's just what I've heard tonight and be my concern. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have time for a couple more comments.
Can I just make a comment on that, Tim, if I may? Because people have asked, and I think Tim makes a very good point. It's really, if you look at Plan M and you look at Plan B, there's pickleball and there is a PAC in both cases. Okay, so this discussion Tim makes, I don't understand why there's this battle between the two. They're appropriate for Sun City, and there needs not be any battle. It's already up here in both cases. So just so those people that want to go home feeling like there's no battle, there really isn't. Okay, there's no need to be. As far as the amount of people, I think, Bill, you might want to correct this if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, in the SAC, there was an estimated 5,700 attendees to performances for a PAC. So the number that I keep hearing around here of 100, that's really not the case, okay? We're talking about the attendees, not the members only. So 5,700, does that sound correct? Yes. Okay. So that's, yes, okay. You need a microphone.
We have a gentleman in the back, too.
There you go. So in 2022, there were 3,200 people who attended the 3 shows that the players put on. And this year, as one of the players' representatives at the SAC said, they were hoping to get between a total of 1,500 and 2,000.
Thank you. In the back?
Yep. Elsa Will.
You talk directly into it.
Yeah, directly. Elsa Will, 107-546. I know we all love Sun City, and we came here for a reason, okay? And I don't think many of us like seeing the homeless that are around. But this is the second time I've heard about someone complaining about the rehab center. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody here. There are people that live in Sun City who need rehab assistance. And there are other locations within Sun City which do provide locations for rehab. So I get very touchy when I hear that. It's not always a bad thing, but it is needed. Thank you.
Okay. We're reaching the bewitching hour, and I want to thank you for coming. I think this is a great idea. I've been a long-time proponent of having more town halls on the various subjects. The more you know, the better decisions that you can take. So thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
copywritten production of the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated and is intended for the sole purpose of informing our Recreation Center members. Any duplication, copying, transmission, broadcast, or use, including electronic and social media, is strictly prohibited without the prior written consent from the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated. Thank you for watching.